All right, Philip, let's go ahead and jump into this week's review of AEW Dynamite. And like we always do.
Can I hit him with it?
Hit him with what?
AEW. Oh, my!
Oh, yeah, there, of course. Maybe we should do that. We should start doing that every week. I think so. We should jump into that. So let's go ahead and talk about this week's episode of AEW Dynamite, and we'll go through it like we always do. We'll give our initial thoughts about the episode and then kind of break down the card and look ahead to what's coming up next for AEW. But actually, before we jump into Dynamite itself, this week was the start of something very cool for AEW. It was the women's tag team tournament. Am I right? And I was so busy, I haven't had a chance to check it out, but you got to watch it. It was on Monday on YouTube. So I was a little surprised. I thought this was going to be on TNT on Dynamite as well, but it looks like it's going to be a YouTube presentation of it.
Look, man, you talk about a Wednesday Night War. Let me tell you something, brother. The Monday Night War is back in full effect with the Women's Tag Team Cup and Monday Night Raw. I watched that over Raw on Monday night. Yeah, I'm for the movement, ladies and gentlemen. Dude, honestly, there were only two matches. There was the Nightmare Sisters, Allie and Brandy, going up against Mel. She was a part of the Nightmare Collective that Brandy was doing, and I forget who her partner was.
Okay.
Yeah, Brandy and Allie won. Spoiler alert, sorry. They move on. And then you have Tay Conti. She was Tay Conti in NXT. Her and Anna Jay from the Dark Order, they took on Ari and Andrew and the Native Beast Nyla Rose. And there's something I liked. Anna Jay was accompanied by all of the members of the Dark Order. She started wearing this mask as if she's shedding new skin, now that she's with the Dark Order. I'm like, okay, I like that. All in all, the match was okay. The finish, Ariane took she bended in a way where she hit her own knee on her face. I'm like, oh my god, that looked like it actually hurt. Mm-hmm. But all in all, Tay Conti and Anna Jay, they got the win. Nobody got hurt. That's all we can ask for.
And I'm really surprised that Nyla Rose lost in the first round. The former women's champion for AEW lost in the first round.
I mean, she's more of a single star. Yeah. That's not what Vicky hasn't planned for her. So. Okay. Vicky didn't seem too bothered by it. Oh, Shaul Guerrero, Vicky and Eddie's daughter. She was the ring announcer that night.
That's cool. And I think she's done some of that before in other promotions. I think Wow Women of Wrestling, that's on Access TV. I think she did some of that announcing as well, or ring announcing.
And they also had Veda Scott. She's been on the indies for quite some time. I've seen her work. I'm very impressed with her work. She was on commentary with Tony Schiavone.
Oh, yeah. I saw that too, the clip of that. Okay, that's awesome. So listen, I mean, to AEW, if you're a fan of AEW, they're giving you a lot of content between Monday evenings for that. Tuesday, they got AEW Dark. Wednesday, they got Dynamite. So a lot of stuff to tune in for. So another reason why you need to subscribe to their YouTube channel.
And the underrated war is Impact versus AEW Dark.
Which it's I was just thinking, man, seriously, there's so much wrestling every week. When we started In The Kliq, it was supposed to be we had time for just 1 hour, one episode a week. But now we're at the point of doing at least 3 episodes, an occasional interview. I know you and I were discussing some other ideas. I like this podcast, this brand has expanded into a whole 24/7 just wrestling commentary / coverage. I love it. It's a lot of extra work, but we're covering the sport that we love.
Dude, you've become like Wade Keller. He does 4 or 5 podcasts a week.
Really? Oh man.
Yeah, but his he does a SmackDown recap and it's 2.5 hours. I'm like, how do you find 2.5 hours to talk about what happened on SmackDown?
It's 2 hours itself. That's
it does
with commercials.
An extensive breakdown. I mean, we're not doing that here, but you're coming for Conrad's top of the Podfather, man.
Man, well, that's the thing. It's I want to cover all these different topics and just put it out there and let people pick and choose what they want. I want to be a buffet. Give people options on what they want to cover or listen to, our insight on the various different wrestling programming that's on every week. So, if you want to hear someone talk about Impact, we got your Impact coverage right here. We got your AEW Dynamite coverage right here. So I want to do it all. And I think that's just for us. That way, we just cast a big white net and hopefully all the wrestling fans out there have something to tune in for. But listen, and this is during a pandemic. I love MLW. I love NWA Power. Hopefully those come back at some point by the end of the year. And I would love to talk about those two as well. So that might be a whole separate episode. I don't know. I haven't thought about that far yet. I'm just trying to keep up with what we're doing right now. Maybe you and I should do that on a separate episode. I don't know. Like I said, there's just so much to discuss. But for AEW, yeah, they're cranking out so much content right now for everyone. And so let's jump into, AEW Dynamite this week. And it started out with a banger or a stacked card as far as we saw the Elite, which is Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, the Young Bucks, and FTR taking on the Dark Order along with Colt Cabana, and Brody Lee's also was wrestling for them this time. So it was 6-on-6, a 12-man match. So Philip, just actually wait, before I get into that, just what was your initial thoughts about the episode of Dynamite this week?
I think this was a boost up from last week. I know you had I thoroughly did enjoy last week, mainly because of the MJF thing, but I know you weren't really as keen on it as I was. But I thought this was a big boost from last week. This multi-man tag match was very good. Hangman Page coming in, tearing it up. Yeah, like he's gonna be the baby face. I can see it. I think Kenny is the one that will turn on him. Ooh. And he almost knocked him out with the buckshot lariat. Yeah. And that allowed Brody Lee to hit a sick lariat on Hangman Page and get the dub for the Dark Order.
Yeah, man. Like I said, last week I thought it was just a big dud, just kind of flat. The 5-on-5 opening match, the 10-man tag match in the beginning was just really chaotic, unorganized, didn't flow very well, and just saw the other segments were just not as good. And this week was just a complete 180, a much more entertaining show, jam-packed, and there was some stuff I wish they could have done more of, and we'll get into that as we make our way through this, but overall so much better. And listen, I just wonder, and I don't know, this is kind of observation I'm going to have kind of moving forward. So I don't know if people realize, because of this pandemic, I think what they do is they film 2 episodes at a time, and then they film every other week. So last week they filmed 2 episodes. So the episode we saw last week was technically live. And then the episode we saw tonight was filmed last week, so they have this week off, so if that makes sense. So they film 2 episodes, and then they take every other week off. And so I wonder if they filmed last week's episode and they realized the powers that be were like, this felt kind of flat or whatever. And then they made sure that the following episode that they recorded was a lot better. So I just kind of wonder, anytime we see like a quote flat episode, I wonder if the following episode will be better because they take into account, all right, we're recording this in advance. Okay, we could just tell this one wasn't as good of a show. What can we do to make the next episode much better? You know what I mean? So that's just a little observation I'm going to have kind of moving forward. It's like, okay, episode where it's live recording, tapings, and then the following week, which is just, it's the second episode that they're airing. That's just something I'm going to keep track of, but anyway, just for everyone playing at home if you want to do the same thing. But so yeah, what were your thoughts about the opening match? 12-man tag match.
It was fun. You have Dax Harwood. He got hurt or whatever. So Cash Wheeler and Hangman take him back to the trainer, and the Bucks were kind of trying to check on him, but then the Bucks, Matt hops on the apron while Kenny's getting taken down, and it was fun. But the numbers game got to him, and like I said, Hangman comes back out and planchas, moonsaults, tope suicidas, all this stuff, and he's really just tearing it up. Mm-hmm. And he throws one of the Dark Order guys over to the corner so Brody Lee can tag, and he's like, "Yeah, come on, big boy, let's do this." I'm like, "Okay, yes, sir." Yeah. And my co-host Brandon said Brody Lee and Colt Cabana take the tag titles off of Hangman and Omega. Really? And Omega, and I'm like, wow, that's interesting. That's different. I like that.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. Okay, that's an interesting prediction. He should apply that for the Bullet title, the Bullet Cast Championship, if it comes up.
Hey, man, we got to get through TakeOver and SummerSlam first, brother.
Yeah. So I will say this: I was like worried because, like, okay, last week we had the 10-man tag 5-on-5. I thought, like I said earlier, it was just a mess all over the place. And I was like, okay, we're getting 12-man tag match, 6-on-6. I was just worried, oh my God, this is going to be just as bad, if not worse, because you have that much more people involved. And no, this was so much better. It was just much more clean. It was just felt more organized. and it just seemed better structured as far as guys tagging in and out and going at it back and forth, one-on-one competition while the rest of the team was cheering on. It was so much more smoother, and it was just better spots, and just overall it was just a much better match. And then, as you said, the whole when one of the guys in FTR got hurt and they go walking back, Hangman joins them, so it becomes 6-on-3. And so I kind of like that storytelling as far as, Hangman left the Elite, who's been his buddies forever, to go join the help out FTR and walk out in the back. So he left his team. So I like that the FTR guys are kind of creating more just tension, and possibly going to be the ones that be the reason that breaks up the Elite somehow, or at least Hangman and Kenny Omega. So, like I said, that's something you and I have been documenting and talking about for the last few weeks. So, like I said, we'll just keep an eye on that, how FTR really splits everything up. And I think what I might do in social media, I might do like a little fantasy pick, because you and I think the last couple weeks we're all trying to figure out who's going to be, which combination of guys from the AEW roster are going to form this, quote, new Four Horsemen that we keep hearing is going to happen. Either Cody, Hangman, FTR, or maybe Matt Cardona or Sean Spears. So I might create like a little graphic or something, put on social media. Which combination of guys do you think is going to make up the new Four Horsemen? So it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, Hangman, when he came back from the locker room, he came out guns blazing, taking guys out, and just all over the place. I loved it. And as you said, ultimately, he tried to take out Brody Lee, but he missed. And Brody Lee hit him with the lariat and got the pin. So I was really shocked. Dark Order with a big win here. But that's good. Dark Order needs a win to kind of keep looking strong. And you can easily argue the reason they kind of won, because for a good portion of the match, it was 6-on-3. So it's more tension being built up between the tag champions and the Elite. So we shall wait and see how this plays out. And then next up in the night, we saw. Listen, I'm just looking at the summary here up on AEW's website.
We had the Best Friends defeat Santana and Ortiz. Santana and Ortiz yet again still losing while they're with the Inner Circle. So, man, that Latinx faction that I talked about with Eddie Kingston and Diamante, I think, that could be something seen in the very foreseeable future. They need to, sit down and think about, man, why haven't we been winning? And then one of them be like, man, the last time we was on a hot winning streak, we were hanging out with Eddie, and maybe we can get some stuff on Being the Elite that could transfer over to Dynamite, little vignettes like, hey, man, can we talk to you? And they shut the door. And then Jericho can be like, what the hell was that about? Stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, so this match between Santana and Ortiz and Best Friends, I don't know. I'm kind of hit or miss with Best Friends. I get it. They're kind of like internet darlings / they got a big following, on the independent scene, and they're pretty entertaining / comedic guys. I'm kind of on the fence on them in general, and I don't know.
If I can jump ahead to when Santana and Ortiz, they destroyed Trent's mom's van.
Yeah.
And then they cut to the Best Friends finding it, and Chucky's like, you did not destroy my best friend's mom's van. I'm like, that's not funny. This didn't land.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so one, I was surprised that Best Friends got the win here, but then again, you could tell Santana and Ortiz were very pissed off, and I wonder if that's kind of snapping them into this more aggressive state of mind. And we saw that, as you said, when they beat up and trash Trent's mom's van. And my only thing, my one issue with that whole scene was the cameras that were inside the van. So it was like, oh, come on.
Brandon also,
Really?
Oh, really? Yeah, that happens at WWE all the time. Why is there a camera inside the car? I'm like, oh no, it's a GoPro, man. We don't know. We don't know.
But it just breaks the illusion that, oh, this is planned. Obviously, there's a camera inside to capture this moment. It just breaks. It's we don't need that.
Yeah, the same effect could have been had if a camera crew was just following Santana and Ortiz, be like, hey, yo, watch this. And then they just break it up, tear it up, spray paint it. That would have been absolutely fine.
Like, okay, what's the point of the camera in the van? See the window smash inward, the glass coming flying at the camera? I mean, okay. But I think, yeah, just following them around from the outside is totally fine. But so, yeah, they beat up the van. And it's just funny because, like, it's funny, like, a van is what's, like, really setting up this rivalry between them, like, taking it to the next level. But I think we're really going to start seeing more of a mean streak from Santana and Ortiz. Even though commentary said they were on a 3-match winning streak, I was like, really? I thought they were losing a lot. I mean, so I just think if this can set them up for more of a mean streak and kind of get them back on track and focus as this badass tag team, like the hottest last year, remember last summer, they were the hottest free agents, tag teams available that everyone wanted. So I want to see them get back on that mean streak and eventually become contenders for the tag team championships at some point. See what all the hype was about last year. And so I think this is the beginning of that. And obviously I think next time they all take on each other, they're definitely going to get that victory over Best Friends. But yeah, Best Friends, I think they're, at times to me, they kind of rub me the wrong way. I don't know why. It's kind of hard to explain. It's like, are they supposed to be super serious or are they just more of a comedic act? I don't know. It's just, Chuck Taylor, like, I'm not trying to be, I'm not one to talk, but it's like just like a dad bod. And he's kind of just more goofy, like nonchalant, like doing stuff. I mean, he has his moments where he does some high spots, but at the same time, like Trent, to me, out of the two, is like the star. And so maybe hopefully someday he can get like a big singles push of his own. But anyway, it's funny because imagine if WWE did that whole van segment. I just feel like people would crap on that. And it's like, oh, WWE just beating up a van. But AEW does, and everyone's like praising them, like, "Oh, that's such a great, creative way of kind of getting this rivalry going." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not praising it. It's, it's a van. Like, are we supposed to really believe that was the same van that you and Chucky rode to soccer games? And no, I'm not going to believe that at all. Like, stop lying to me.
Yeah. So no,
it was a stupid idea by bad creative.
I know. Yes, yeah. And then next up, we saw was a live cut-in of MJF at his campaign headquarters. He's on promoting a campaign to get the AEW championship, and the segment, great. I enjoyed it. It just further establishing that he's a heel and he's just an a-hole to be around, and everyone working for him looks very upset or annoyed to be there. So I like the one guy who looked like he was separating green M&Ms from the other M&Ms, kind of a basic rock and roll. When it comes to like some rock and rolls, rock bands in the past, itinerary demands. Like I think it was David Lee Roth or something from Van Halen back in the day. He didn't want brown M&Ms. He wanted a bowl of M&Ms, but didn't want the brown ones in there or something. I might be completely off, but that's just a legend has it. Something. So I enjoy that, and just MJF. It's just it's interesting though. Like I said, I think last week that Moxley, he's dealing with Darby Allin, but they're already kind of foreshadowing another opponent for him. So they're like introducing two different opponents for the AEW World Championship. So it kind of was worrying to me that like the Darby Allin thing is just kind of become a quick one-off. So I don't know. I kind of wish, a champion would just focus on one person at a time. But at the same time, what I'm glad MJF did address at the end was someone said, well, about if Darby Allin wins the championship tonight? He's like, oh, fine. I'll take on that 125-pound emo kid. So at least they kind of connect the dots that way, which I think is cool. So what'd you think of that whole campaign segment?
Well, I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, look, if you want a better AEW, if you want a champion that we can be proud of, you know what you have to do. Vote Maxwell Jacob Friedman 2020. I'm with MJF. September 5th. The prophecy will be fulfilled, and we will have a champion we can be proud of. Yeah.
No, that was very, I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm surprised, Tony Khan said he made the match, so I just kind of wonder if it's a little too soon for MJF to get a title shot already. So I don't know.
No, it's not.
We'll see how this plays out.
Put it on him, Tony. TK, if you can hear me. Put the title on my boy MJF.
Wow. And then next up, we saw Matt Hardy come to the ring for a promo. And is he like kind of saying that he's not going to do all the different Matt Hardy characters now? I was kind of confused by that.
I don't know. He said, his partnership with Private Party, they remind himself a lot of him and his brother, and he was helping them out. And he talked about Sammy Guevara coming back, and how we gave him a nice little push. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if he's not going to do that anymore.
Well, he dressed, Sammy Guevara. It looks like they're trying to reestablish that rivalry that they had building up before Sammy Guevara was suspended for a month. So they're trying to reignite that. Sammy Guevara comes out from the ring. Matt Hardy's like, Sammy Guevara, I knew you come. And they start going at it. And it leads to the outside. And looks like Matt Hardy got busted open a hard way, just gushing blood out of his forehead. And I don't know if it was from the spot where Sammy Guevara threw the chair at his face, or when he threw him in the ring pose. I think it was from the chair, but you could tell Matt's like grabbing his forehead and like looking like he's like, oh my, like you could tell he's trying to feel his head's like something's wrong here. Like I could feel a big gash on my head. Then Sammy Guevara did, 450 dive.
No, that was like a 1937, like some crazy corkscrew flip. Yeah, man. I mean, Matt was gushing red. That red streak in his hair was legit red.
But the amount of blood, the puddle, of blood that's on the table.
Red equals green, brother. Red equals green.
I know.
I'm like, okay, I dig this. I see some color. I like it.
Yeah, so like it was just the puddle of blood everywhere. I was like, oh my God. And you could tell Sammy Guevara, he hit the move and then like there's blood on his pants. I was like, oh my God. And then I just came out, I think today, word is that Sammy Guevara actually has a little bit of backstage heat now. Apparently he got a talking to backstage after the segment, and it's like he shouldn't have thrown that chair so hard at Matt Hardy. And that's what the dirt sheets are reporting. So I mean, I could believe
he has heat for that, not the things he said.
Well, that too. He's. I mean, the guy in the last like 6 weeks has been building up a pretty bad. I mean, just he seems to be messing up left and right. So, but when I watched that, I was like, God, he threw that chair a little hard. It's like, couldn't he have like done something else instead of just throwing like an open chair straight at someone's face? It's like, come on, man. I mean, hopefully and I think he had to go apologize to Matt, but it's like, come on, man. I know you're in the heat of the moment and you're trying to sell this, but at least, do something different. Like, be smart out there. So, but anyway, he has some backstage heat right now over it. But at the same time, the way the segment played out, and I know it sucks getting an actual like cut on your forehead like that. At least it makes Sammy Guevara look even more heelish and get some more real heat with the fans right now. So it makes him more of a badass heel. So at least the bright side of it all. And then next up, let's see. Did I miss the Jon Moxley promo yet? Or I can refer.
That happened like right after the I think Cody. Like the Dark Order Best Friends match.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay. Well,
yeah. I mean, it was good. He says like I know he's not going to stay down. I know I'm going to have to hit him harder than most people, but I like Darby. I do, but I have to do what I have to do to retain my championship. That's the gist of it.
Yeah, and it's cool that Moxley referred to himself. He's like, hey, when I was young, a lot of people told me don't fight this person, don't do a hardcore match with that person. Didn't listen to what they said and did my own thing. And now he sees a lot of that in Darby Allin. And in this situation, he loves Darby Allin. It's his favorite guy on the roster. But at the same time, he is the world champion. He has to defend that title out there. And that becomes his first priority, is defending that championship. And since that's his opponent tonight, that's who he's going to have to go at it with. But he did say, at some point, his advice to him, it's like, when this match gets going, you better stay down when it gets really out of hand. So I actually like this promo. It just seemed more real and authentic, and just really setting up the match between the two. I think, some Moxley's promos in the past been kind of hit or miss, just kind of reaching that emotional level. This one, I really dug it. So much better promo out of him. And then we saw, what was it? The Dark Order taking on Cody Rhodes and formerly known as Zack Ryder, a.k.a. Matt Cardona, making his in-ring debut.
Matt Cardona.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised Cody was selling a lot for the Dark Order guys, but Jack Ryder, as he's been known to be called, he came in there tearing it up with the guys. And they get the win with he's calling the Rough Rider Radio Silence now.
Yeah.
It's kind of an homage to his first when he first became a single star in WWE. His theme song was called Radio.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, written by Jim Johnston.
Yeah.
Miss him. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, cool. He's doing his thing there. Nice to see him.
Well, that's
get the job done.
Yeah, I was really surprised how much offense the Dark Order got in, and just how much of a beating Cody Rhodes took. But Matt Cardona, he came in early on in the match, but then he was sitting out most of it, watching Cody get beat up, and he was waiting. Finally got that hot tag when he came in. Did a few moves, did his finisher, and got the win. So strong showing from Matt Cardona, but for me, I just still want to see more from him. Like, I want to hear him do a promo. It's like, okay, cool. He's got a new theme song with AEW. He's going by his real name. He comes out to the ring. He's got kind of basic gear. Like, I want to see more out of him. I want to see. I just don't want to see Zack Ryder. I want to see Matt Cardona. How can he be different from his WWE persona? Sure, you changed the name of your finisher, but I want to see more. I want to hear his promo. I want to hear just him talk more. But I will admit, he was smiling. He looked very refreshed, and I think that's good. I mean, I'm sure for him to be out from that WWE just lockdown where he couldn't do much, he wasn't on TV much. This one, he just seems so energetic and excited. So if we can get that more from him in following matches, great. But at the same time, like I said, I just want to give me a reason to care about him. I want to see more promos. I want to see what he's all about. What's his mission? What's his purpose in AEW? What does he have lined up? All that stuff. But the match itself was okay. It was like probably, the least whelming, was that the right term? Underwhelming match of the night if I had to rank all of them. But I think the big takeaway was at the very end, they're walking to the back and Scorpio Sky comes up through the tunnel, taps on that title, and it looks like he's challenging Cody Rhodes for that TNT championship next week. Thoughts on that matchup?
I mean, I've said it before on so many other podcasts, and that guy's a star. I see it, I feel it. He's this. I think they even said he's going to be the single star out of the group, while Daniels and Kazarian, they're going to be the tag team because they have some experience together. Hey, man. It'd be nice to see Scorpio Sky repping SCU.
Absolutely.
As a TNT champ.
Scorpio Sky is phenomenal. He's so athletic. He's got that charisma, everything. Yeah, we talked about it before too, that he's definitely a world champion in the making, future world champion in the making. So I think, you start with the TNT championship. My only concern is a little too soon for him to challenge it. I don't watch AEW Dark regularly, but apparently from what I've been hearing and reading, he's been competing a lot there, getting a lot of wins, and even cut a promo. He said he should not be on AEW Dark. He needs to be on Dynamite. And so I think they're really trying to build him up as this big force that's going to have a big push pretty soon on Dynamite. So maybe his match with Cody is the beginning of that big run for him on cable TV now. I'm excited for, but I just wonder if it's a little too soon. But the only thing is, I was thinking about it, is maybe in that match, we see Cody and Arn Anderson kind of on the same page, and we're all anticipating Cody might be turning heel and launching this Four Horsemen, his own stable. Maybe something happens next week where we've seen Cody get kind of a little upset in recent matches, kind of doing some more heelish stuff in the ring. Maybe his match with Scorpio Sky, maybe he cheats to win. Maybe he does something where he kind of does a little more heelish thing. He cheats to defeat Scorpio Sky in this match, and that's the beginning of him starting to turn heel, and maybe the rematch is at All Out, and that's where Scorpio Sky eventually wins it there. I'm just saying that could maybe happen, or maybe he does something next week and pisses off Arn Anderson. I don't know. I feel like in order to get the title off Cody onto Scorpio Sky, we're going to have to see this little bit of a downfall on Cody's part, and eventually see him kind of go to the dark side and see what happens. So I'm excited for this match, but just long term, how this is going to play out to maybe All Out.
Cody, if you're going to go to the dark side, join darkorder.com.
Wow.
It's not a cult. It's a movement. It's a revolution. It's a way of life, bro.
my God. It's a swerve, bro. But next up was the big AEW Super Wednesday debate 2020 between Le Champion, friend of the show, Chris Jericho. Also, yeah, Philip's drinking buddy. We should add that too. I think we should just.
Right. Yes, my friend Chris Jericho, ladies and gentlemen. My fellow Canadian.
Yes. So it was Chris Jericho taking on Orange Cassidy in debate. And so last week they said we're going to have a guest debate. No, what's the term? Moderator. I was going to say
guest moderator. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in 20 years, since the summer of 2000, I wish they had the rights to the I'm Back theme song. Eric Bischoff, the Bish is back, ladies and gentlemen, back on TNT. He was the guest moderator for the Super Wednesday debate. Our friend Chris Jericho, dressed to the nines in a $10,000 suit. The Big Hurt, Jake Hager, is dressed to the nines as well, holding that $7,000 jacket that Orange Cassidy ruined with orange juice. And, Cassidy is there, just not saying a word. And, once they get to the global warming question, by God, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't know Orange Cassidy cared that much about the environment.
That's good to know. But he probably voted for Al Gore back in the day. But no, I'm just saying, first off, that jacket, it gets more and more orange every week, like darker. Like they keep they're spray painting or something. It just gets more and more stains on it.
Yeah, well, he hasn't washed it, so there's like a tint, kind of like when paper gets older, there's like a tint to it. That's exactly what's happening to the jacket.
Okay, another thing too. Listen, I know AEW is still fairly new. If they were able to have their own convention, or maybe if they were to partner with StarCast down the road, I would love to see that jacket on display. You know how WWE has access during WrestleMania week? They have access. That's their big fan convention. They got all the props and stuff from years past. It's like a museum. I would love at StarCast, or if AEW's ever have their own fan convention, that jacket needs to be there on display. I think that's whatever they're doing, keep it, once this whole program is done between the two of them, don't wash the jacket, just keep it locked away, saved up somewhere, and just have it on display for years to come. I think that jacket alone is becoming an amazing prop to use. But yeah, for the debate itself, listen, everyone knows I'm 36. I grew up in the Attitude Era. Eric Bischoff was on my TV every week for years on Nitro, on TNT. And so to see him come back out, I was so happy. I was so excited. Listen, to see Eric Bischoff come out on TV, on TNT, and I hear Tony Schiavone talking, it literally took me back, as you said, 20 years ago, back as a teenager watching that. And that was such a great moment right there. And that's something I love about pro wrestling is you build up, when you become such a hardcore fan, that certain moments can trigger your thoughts and memories to other times in your life like that, like what music does for me and all that. So to see Eric Bischoff on TNT, Tony Schiavone talking, yeah, it just gave me flashbacks to Monday Night Nitro, WCW, all that stuff. It was just such a cool feeling. And, I can't say enough good things. But yeah, the segment itself, very funny. I mean, I thought the first half was a little slow. Jericho was just more piling on Orange Cassidy. But finally, as you said, when they got to the global warming question, Orange Cassidy came out of his shell and just opened up and had this long, very intelligent answer.
Dude, if that was in front of a crowd, oh my God,
they would
man.
pop, yeah.
Everybody. Absolutely. And then, Cassidy starts talking more, and he's like, Jericho, we all know what you're doing here. You scheduled a debate against a guy that doesn't talk. Whoop-de-doo, very funny. And then, he said, you're Chris Jericho. You've done everything there is to do. And, he takes off his glasses, and he's like, look at me, Chris. Look me in my eyes. You're going to have your biggest loss next week when I beat you. And I'm like, oh, wow. Jericho's face selling the thing was great. And then Cassidy wins the debate because Bischoff said he won him over with the global warming. And Jericho's like, I've hated you for 24 years. No,
yeah, Jericho said, I hated you for the last 22 years. And he's like, no. Bischoff said, 24 years. So for anyone who doesn't know, I mean, God, Jericho was in WCW in the late 90s. Didn't feel like he kind of hit his ceiling. He wasn't doing anything, wasn't being pushed properly. I guess Bischoff, who Bischoff was helping with the booking, was giving that shot. And that's ultimately why he left and went to WWE and started Y2J over there. So there is some legit, beef between the two.
History there, yeah. I mean, 24 years, that's as long as I've been alive.
Thank you for the reminder. I was going to say 2000, how were we, 4? Right? So,
yeah, I was 4. Absolutely, dude.
Maybe, okay, listen, I know last week we talked about, as the younger guy, like I feel like I need to be your mentor and just show you about cool pop culture stuff from back in the day when I was younger. And you said maybe for complex conversations. The other podcast,
yes,
we'll do it there. I was thinking like, because you didn't like live or you weren't old enough to like visually watch the Monday Night Wars, Nitro and Raw. And like, I said, I was watching that every week, and God, it was just such an amazing time. And listen, I know I was a kid, so I hold that up to a higher regard to other things, because it was just like I was a very impressionable time in my life. And so I'm sure if I rewatch some of that stuff now, it probably wouldn't be as good. Like I haven't watched a lot of this stuff in years, so I don't want to taint my memory of it. But maybe we should do it as a bonus thing some days. Like we go through specific episodes or something, we watch it together and get your reaction, because like, and that for me, I can relive some of my childhood that way. But for you who didn't live through it, technically you can watch it and kind of get your perspective on it as well. That might be something fun. I'm just throwing that out there. But
absolutely, I'd love to, man.
Okay, cool. So we'll save that in the running list of other projects we want to do for this show and whatnot. But yeah, the segment itself, yeah, it's Orange Cassidy brought up a good point. He's like, dude, yeah, you're Chris Jericho, man. You're the GOAT. Like, if you lose to me, you have everything to lose here. I don't. I'm just the guy who doesn't talk and, who's nonchalant. So, yeah, there's pressure on Chris Jericho. He needs to win here. Or, yeah, his whole legacy could have a big old taint mark on it right now. At least that's how they're setting it up, kayfabe-wise. But, like, and listen, I mean, early predictions, Orange Cassidy is going to win. He has to win. Jericho won on the pay-per-view, and this is on TNT next week. I can easily see Orange Cassidy getting the victory here.
And then we get the rubber match it all out?
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. So yeah. I'm just saying, like, it's just, to get the win here, it totally makes sense for Orange Cassidy. But an amazing promo for this slow build or slow burn of Orange Cassidy's development as a character since he signed with AEW has been really interesting. And I really wish there were fans in attendance, because I really want to see if he's really truly getting over with the fans. But nonetheless, that promo, I was so blown away, because we don't hear the guy talk. So when he finally does talk, you're like, I was just frozen watching. I was just so intrigued by it. And that's what's just cool about the character development. Sure, Orange Cassidy, I know he's very polarizing amongst the internet wrestling community out there, but what he did, that promo really sold me. Like, I need to watch this match now and see how Orange Cassidy delivers. He's the underdog here, so I want to see how he performs against Chris Jericho next week. It was an amazing promo that he has a lot to prove to people, so it's becoming really exciting for that. So, and then what'd you think of Bischoff's performance overall?
I thought it was fine. He played the, hey guys, you remember me? I used to be a dominant fixture on this network. I'm back now. That's I thought it was great. Bischoff. If you've ever met him in person, super nice guy. Yeah. I let him pass me on an elevator at Starcast.
Nice. That's
yes. Very nice man.
Yeah, I'm curious if this will lead to more stuff on AEW for him, or if this was just a one-off. Him as a performer, cool. Don't let him near the booking, because his booking hit or miss.
He could be, at the executive side again. I mean, hey, 83 weeks, guys. That's still impressive till this day.
Which, by the way, beforehand we were double checking the ratings for AEW versus NXT this week. AEW had over 900,000 viewers.
They had, was it like 907?
And NXT
had like 753 or something like that.
So they blew them out of the water. Combined, it's 1.6 million. So, hey.
The Bish equals ratings, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, I'm just going to say, like, combined 1.6 million, like, just as many people watching Raw are watching wrestling on Wednesday nights now. So it just shows Wednesday night is coming up popular. But listen, hey, I guess you could call that another win for Eric Bischoff, right? Against WWE. So should he change his podcast name? change his podcast name from 83 weeks to 84 weeks now. Just saying, like, it's another victory for him against WWE on TNT. But nonetheless, it was just very cool seeing him. And I mean, part of me like be cool to have him for nostalgia's sake as a performer of some sort. But then again, if he does come back, people will be like, oh, it's just another guy from back in the day that they're just reusing. And it's like, create new stars, create new young talent. So I don't know. Maybe occasionally use him. That'd be kind of cool. But yeah, seeing Bischoff on TNT was just a cool nostalgia feeling for me, for someone who grew up in the Attitude Era like that. So, but nonetheless, yeah, it was very cool. The segment overall, by the end, I'm stoked for the match next week with Chris Jericho against Orange Cassidy. So, nonetheless, yeah, it's going to be really good. And yeah, just to kind of see another layer of Orange Cassidy, his character development and him speaking. And so, no, it was very cool. And we saw a quick match here. So Britt Baker out in the wheelchair said she, what was it? She would take on Big Swole
if she beat the person she chose for her opponent. And, you know, shout out to our boy Will Hobbs, friend of the show.
Yep.
He was out and about, you know, being her handler, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
She picked Rebel, Rebel, former Dallas Cowboys cheerleader. She broke into the business a few years ago. She worked with Impact. She's done tours of India and Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she played her role very well. Obviously, we know she knows what she's doing. She's a wrestler.
Yeah.
But, like, oh, I hit a move. Oh, let me capitalize on this. And she went for the moonsault. Like, she had on the Jordans. And, she was Air Rebel.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't land. It happened, but Big Swole got the dub, and so we're getting Britt Baker versus Big Swole.
And,
most likely all out. Yeah.
Because I would say Britt's been injured for a couple months now, and that was the timetable of her being fully healed.
A quick thing on the All Out poster: it's all the champions: Moxley, Cody, Hangman, and Omega, Hikaru Shida, and Brian Cage. So I guess they're officially acknowledging the FTW title.
I saw that too. I guess, yeah. I mean, technically, it's a championship that's being defended on their weekly television and pay-per-view. So I guess, yeah, they got to kind of, for consistency, put it up there. But yeah, no, it was interesting. Yeah, Rebel was like, what? Me? I got to go in there? And I like when she tried climbing the ring. She had trouble at first because she hadn't done it in a long time. And she hasn't wrestled in a minute. And so it was cool. Like, she's trying to shake off the rust, but also you could tell when she started, she was picking up things pretty fast. It's like, oh, yeah, I remember how to do that. And now she looked great. And I would love to see her wrestle. I mean, we talked about this on a previous episode. Like, I'm a big fan of her. I love Rebel. She is gorgeous and looks amazing, all that stuff. And yeah, that moonsault, like, it was great. She climbed to the very top and she's like, whoa, I losing her balance. And she went down one level. And that moonsault looked great. I mean, unfortunately, she missed. Swole got out of the way and then rolled her up for, or hit her finisher on her and got the victory. So, but nonetheless, I guess my main thing I want to talk about real quick was a lot of people were complaining that was the only women's segment of the night. And it was like 4 minutes, if that. It was a very quick segment. And so just a lot of people were just complaining. It's like, the biggest criticism of AEW is that their women's division is pretty weak. It's the weakest thing from their promotion. And like, how can you build up that women's division if you don't give it time on television? I totally get that. And I think a lot of people also were kind of scratching their head with the women's tag team tournament we talked about earlier, that it's only on YouTube and it's not part of Dynamite. Like, at least have like a match or two on the Dynamite show.
Yeah, like they can do like a second chance, like two teams that have lost out, something like that.
Well, okay. Listen, I'm trying to think how I want to sum it up. There's a couple things. Like, okay, AEW, their roster is pretty stacked. They have a lot of storylines going right now. And listen, it's tough to fit it all in 2 hours. And I know they, as much as they probably, a lot of people want to see maybe that AEW women's tag team tournament to get some love on Dynamite. It's kind of tough right now, I think, as far as all the other storylines they're trying to get out there and build up for All Out. And I think it's kind of cool that they are giving a whole dedicated feature on their YouTube channel. Their YouTube channel is growing. And listen, it's social media world that we live in. We like stuff on demand. I mean, like, if you want to support the AEW women's tag team tournament, then make sure you watch it when it drops on their YouTube channel. Watch it, share it, get those viewers numbers up. And so that way it shows to them, the powers that be, that this tournament is very popular. So we can control their fate as far as the popularity of it. So I just think it, and listen, I think anything that maybe they can't fit on Dynamite, it's a great outlet to put it on YouTube. And that way, like, us fans can watch it when we can. You know, you don't want to force everything in there. Sure, there might have been one or two matches that could have dropped. Like, I think, like, there was too many Dark Order matches on this show, or Dark Order was getting too much attention.
Oh, no, not enough. Join darkorder.com, ladies and gentlemen.
So my thing was, like, maybe take out a Dark Order match and you put, like, another women's match in there. I will admit, like, it's pretty frustrating that the AEW Women's Champion, she's not getting enough time to shine on Dynamite.
She was actually vocal about that. You know, she put up a picture on her Instagram like, did you enjoy AEW Dynamite? And then she put another picture of her with a frowny face. Me too.
Yeah, no,
So,
I'm with that, and I feel bad for her. She should be getting top TV time. She doesn't even have a major storyline right now, and All Out is theoretically, what, a month away, 4 weeks away? So
29 days.
So hopefully they can get a program set up for her, because she better be defending that championship. I want her to. I love watching her in the ring. So listen, I okay, like Britt Baker, she's getting a lot of TV time. So the Britt Baker / Rebel / Swole storyline, that's one segment for women's division, or the women's division. Put AEW Women's Champion Shida, give her own segment too. She deserves her time to shine as well. Like, they easily could have done 2 women's segments on that episode.
Yeah, they could have just put her against a jobber, you know?
Yeah, and just remind people that she's there, and then hopefully set up something. So it looks like Britt Baker, Swole have their own storyline. Give Shida something else to do, so that way you at least say you have 2 women's storylines going right now. And I know they're a little thin right now as far as talent goes, because Statlander's injured. And
bro, this is exactly why I said all the women in NWA that aren't doing anything, hey, just for a brief period of time, just until it starts back up, you know?
Well, the other thing too, okay, and I will say this before I forget, if the AEW Women's Tag Team Tournament is going to be on YouTube only, then I think on Dynamite they need to do a better job promoting that, and at least do like a highlight package video. So here's what you missed on this week's episode of the tournament that you can watch Mondays at this time on YouTube. Give us like a 2-minute highlight video with the commentators narrating, and just remind them, watch it on YouTube, and push your listeners or viewers there to watch it on YouTube. Listen, I get it. They have a stacked show, so they probably can't fit the tournament on there, but at least give us a highlight video, catch us up in case we didn't watch it, and then at least promote the next episode so people can go watch what they missed and go watch the next episode. So do a better job promoting that. But I think no excuses why Dynamite cannot have at least more women's matches on there. Give something for AEW Women's Champion. The Britt Baker storyline is also very good. And then if the tournament is only YouTube, that's fine, but make sure you promote it properly. So you just got to build it up. I don't know. I want the women's division to do well, and I want it to rival all the other promotions that are doing great jobs with their women's division. And I really want to see AEW do big things. So hopefully, they'll figure things out. And to AEW's credit, for the most part, it looks like they listen to their fans' criticism and they try to act accordingly. So hopefully, if enough people are vocal about this, that AEW will take that into consideration and try to figure out how to make things better and do it right. So my fingers are crossed that they'll, figure things out. So, all right, let's jump to the main event. AEW World Champion John. I was going to try to do like John Ross.
Jon Moxley.
There you go. I'll let you do it from now on. Taking on Darby Allin. Dude, thoughts on this match?
It happened, what is it? I think the highlight of it was when Mox tossed him off of the platform and he smacked his head on the turnbuckle and flew him. Oh my God, Jesus. And Darby Allin's playing the role that Jeff Hardy played back in the day, where he looks better in defeat, like when Jeff was chasing the WWE Championship, he lost all those matches to Triple H but kept looking better and stronger in defeat even though he was losing. And I think that's the role Darby Allin is going to play in AEW. I mean, look at the match he had with Cody last year, where it was a time limit draw, but he was kind of made.
Yeah.
And then the other stuff he's done, the other match with Moxie had where he lost, but he was still kind of made yet again.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's the role that he's playing right now. But I mean, eventually he will start to rack up more wins. And I think Allen down the line, give it about a year, I think he'll be the TNT champion.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I would say this. I like a couple things. One, I like Taz on commentary saying, yeah, Brian Cage and Starks are banned from the building. And I don't like this match. I don't like Moxley. So I like how he's just kind of feeding fuel to the fire of the recent rivalry between Cage and Moxley. So I like on commentary, he was calling them out and just reminding people where his guys were at, which was another reminder. Excalibur, once again, not a commentary this week. But that goes back because, like I said, they filmed usually 2 episodes back to back. So since last week, he wasn't on last week's episode when they filmed the second episode. He obviously was kept off that as well. So who knows if he'll be back next week? I don't know. We shall wait and see on that one. But yeah, Taz did an awesome job. I enjoyed this match. It was not super long. I think it was probably under 15 minutes. It was not super long. The pacing was great. Darby Allin took a hell of a beating from Moxley. Moxley was laying it into him. This is one of Moxley's better matches that we've seen in a long time. Some of his other matches can be kind of hit or miss as far as it's stop and go. This one just kind of boom, consistently laying into Darby Allin. It was so much better. And the storytelling there, like he's beating him up, but Darby Allin keeps counting or lifting his arm up and kicking out. And he's getting frustrated at this, that he can't stop this guy. And he's not following what he said in his promo earlier in the night was like, you're going to get your ass kicked here. You got to learn just to stay down. So that just sets up in our minds as fans that Darby Allin will take a beating and not give up. So as a baby phase moving forward, we're going to keep rooting for Darby Allin because he knows he will never give up. So that's cool. But also, he finally hit the paradigm shift on him and finally got the victory. And Moxley kind of was caressing Darby and was like talking to him. So even though there's 2 baby faces going at it, he was kind of like, before I forget, when he did the coffin drop and Moxley caught him and had him like in the rear naked chokehold, that was a great visual with the blood running down Moxley's face and he's holding him. I love that as well. That was just very good, just a visual standpoint. And you can hear him whispering or yelling. It's like, just give up. And even earlier in the night, he had another submission and Darby Allin throw up the double birds, like, F you, I'm not giving up. So just all those little story beats was really great. But then at the very end, where Moxley got the victory, he was just caressing Darby Allin like almost like a parent holding a baby or a
like
child.
holding him like a baby, like a little baby. Oh yeah, man. He was like, that's basically his way of saying good-ish, kid.
Yeah.
You brought the fight, and MJF made a run in during the match.
Yeah.
Hit him with the title. Because he'd obviously rather face Darby Allin than John Moxley, but that just adds fuel to the fire for Moxley, and can't wait to see what those two do next week. Yeah. And they need to have a debate. They need to have a debate. I'm a fan of these AEW debates, man.
It is an election year, so
yeah, it just makes sense. The go home episode to All Out. I think they need to have a debate.
I hope AEW reminds people, hey, vote. That's a big thing. You got to vote people this year. It's an important election for many reasons and encourage people to vote. Like I remember back in the 90s, they used to have Rock the Vote. AEW should capitalize on this whole campaign stuff that they're doing and remind people, go out and vote, especially with this whole pandemic going on and, polls. I don't know all the breakdown of it all, but a lot of people who might be trying to vote by mail this year. They tell everyone, make sure you send your ballots like 2 weeks early as well. So
yeah, that's what I do. I'm a mail voter.
Okay.
I've never been to a poll. My grandma and my mom are poll voters, but
okay.
Me, I just do it by mail. Yeah.
You're a mail voter?
I am. I get the ballot in the mail and I
Not sorry, took the shot. I was wishing you kept saying I'm a male voter. I was like, yeah, I know you're a man. Sorry.
I get the ballot in the mail and I check my boxes and send it off.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, so they tell people it's gonna take about 2 weeks to get in or something. So they say by end of October, get your votes in. So anyway, I'm just saying, not to get off sidetrack, but I think it'd be kind of cool if AEW on this whole campaign thing, maybe they maybe closer to election time this year, that they encourage people to go out and vote as well. They got the what do you call it, the thing you talk in front of, oh my god, podium. I don't know, Cody be like, go out there and vote. I don't know.
Yeah, do like his best Bill Clinton. Need you to go out there and vote. I won't say the other thing Clinton's famous for. We don't talk about that on this show.
Yeah. Oh, man. But no, like I said, much better episode of AEW Dynamite this week. As the ratings shown, it was a smash hit. And I'm super stoked for next week's episode of Dynamite. They got a lot of good things going. And we're also on the road to All Out, which is going to be here before we know it. So I'm excited for that pay-per-view. Dude. Yeah, good things coming for AEW for the next few weeks. So looking forward to all